Hello, welcome back to the NPTEL course on friction and wear of materials, case studies and principles. So, today in this lecture we will learn about a unique combination of properties that can be obtained in nanoceramics and nanoceramic composites. We will also focus on the processing techniques, particularly the spark plasma sintering to develop such nanoceramic composites, and also we will also see the overall view of this nanoceramic composites tribology. Overall, the tribological behavior of nanoceramic composites will also be understood. Okay. First, nanostructured materials. By definition, a material with a structural units having a size of scale of less than 100 nanometers in any dimension is called a nanostructured material. So, nanostructured materials, they possess unique combination of physical or functional properties which cannot be obtained in materials with structural units having scales in microns or larger, right. So, nanostructured materials can be categorized based on the dimension. 0 dimensional material, nano sized powders, are 1 dimensional nanostructured materials, for example, nanocrystalline multilayers. 2 dimensional nanostructured material, filamentary rods of nanoscale thickness, or 3 dimensional materials, bulk materials with at least one phase which is in nano range, right. So, coming to the nanoceramics and nanoceramic composites, they have tremendous applications. The intended applications of nanoceramics and nanoceramic composites include ceramic parts for the automotive engines, cutting tools, heat engine components or wear resistant parts, aerospace related industrial applications, where all these advantage of having a superior combination of properties will be used, right. So, but the major challenge in nanoceramic development is the restriction of grain growth while achieving the full density. For most of the mechanical applications or tribological applications, you need a ceramic component with full density. At the same time, you need to restrict the grain growth to a nano range, so that you get a advantage of having a nanoceramic composites with respect to their property improvement. But the restriction of grain growth during processing is very difficult using conventional sintering techniques. We will also see advanced sintering techniques to develop such composites. First of all, the nanoceramic composites can be classified into 5 groups. One is the intergranular nanocomposite, in which you have a grain of a ceramic which is not in nano size, right, but you have a reinforcement which is in a nano size, and these reinforced phases are along the grain boundary. So, you call this as intergranular nanocomposite. Or you may also have a ceramic composite in which the grain of a ceramic which is more than a nano dimension, a ceramic reinforcement which is in nano size range, that can be inside the grains as well. So, along the grain boundary as well as inside the grains, if the nano reinforcement is available. So, we call this as inter or intragranular nanocomposite. Or you may also have simply intragranular nanocomposite, that means inside this ceramic grain you have a ceramic reinforcement which is a nano phase. The nano phase is only inside the grain of this ceramic composite. So, we call this as intragranular nanocomposite. Or you may also have a nano grain of nano matrix with a nano reinforcement. So, that is called nano composite. Or you may also have a micro nano sized matrix with a micron sized reinforcement, then you call it as nano micro composite. That means, you have overall 5 groups of nanoceramic composites. Then first of all, how to process such a nanoceramic? as I told, it is very difficult to restrict the grain growth during processing using conventional sintering techniques. So, it is a better understanding on the processing of ceramics is required to develop such a nano ceramic material. So, the only solution to have such a suppression of the coarsening while enhancing the densification is by lowering the sintering time and temperature. So, if you can lower the sintering time and temperature, we can restrict the coarsening, but you may have to maintain the densification. So, in that sense you have the ceramic nano composites processing has major issues like inhibition of the grain growth while achieving full densification and retention of nano sized grains or particulates in the dispersion of nano reinforcements in the matrix. So, these are the major issues, but before that cost effective synthesis route to obtain a nano agglomerate nanocrystalline ceramic powders. In one of the previous classes we learnt about mechanical synthesis for the ceramic powders, right. One of them is the ball milling. So, you have to find a cost effective synthesis route to obtain a non agglomerated nanocrystalline ceramic powders. So, usually when the size is reduced for the powders, they tend to agglomerate easily, right. So, to obtain nano agglomerated and nanocrystalline ceramic powders, you have to find out one suitable synthesis route, either chemical or mechanical synthesis route, but it must be cost effective. The other issue in the processing of nanoceramics is after having such a nanoceramic powders, you have to compact it, right. So, the compaction of nanoparticles to obtain green body without having any density gradients or the cracks is a very challenging task. Right, you have to find out such a compaction technique. So, after that once the compaction is done, you have to do such a sintering. While sintering, inhibition of the grain growth while achieving full densification is the major challenge as told earlier. And the other important issue is the retention of such nano sized grains or nano sized particles and dispersion of nano reinforcement in a matrix. So, uniform reinforcement uniform dispersion of this nano reinforcement in matrix is very challenging. At the same time, retaining such nano size while sintering is also a challenging task. So, you have mainly the major issues in processing such nano ceramics is to have a cost effective synthesis route to obtain non agglomerated nanocrystalline ceramic powders, or compaction of nanoparticles to obtain green body without cracks or density gradient, or inhibition of grain growth while achieving full densification, retention of nano sized grains or particulates, and dispersion of nano reinforcement in the matrix. So, coming to the processing techniques for such nano ceramics, first of all let us start with the very cost effective conventional sintering. We call it is a pressureless sintering, right. As we understood from the one of our previous classes, so sintering is the major step in developing a ceramic material, and one of the cost effective sintering technique is the conventional sintering technique, which is a pressureless sintering technique. In other techniques we apply pressure, so those are called pressurized sintering techniques. A pressureless sintering techniques because of this cost effectiveness is being used even in the industrial scale. But in this pressureless sintering, normally higher temperatures are required and longer holding time are required to have such a dense ceramic body. But this holding at a higher temperature for longer time lead to considerable grain growth. So, this is the major challenge in the pressureless sintering technique. But people have developed one very efficient scheme in the pressureless sintering technique to develop such a nano ceramic material. Is that one is the two-step sintering scheme. So, what do they do? In two-step sintering scheme, first you hold it at lower temperature after reaching this peak densification temperature. So, you have a peak densification temperature, right. This is temperature and time. So, after achieving the peak densification temperature where you expect a maximum densification is possible. So, immediately after that you decrease the temperature, hold it at a lower temperature for longer time and before you cool it to a room temperature. So, what you are actually doing, you are going to the maximum temperature so that the diffusion is possible to a maximum extent. So, the necking happens to a maximum extent, and the third stage of sintering, as we understood from our previous classes, that third stage of sintering you have a considerable growth of the grains, right. So, to minimize such a growth of the grains immediately after achieving this third stage, that means after achieving this peak densification, you reduce the temperature and reduce to a lower temperature, so that the microstructural homogeneity can be obtained. So, you have a two-step sintering process, which is generally adopted in a conventional pressureless sintering technique to develop nanoceramic material. So, let us see a couple of examples of nanoceramics prepared by pressureless sintering technique by adopting such a two-stage scheme. So, this is a nano yttria ceramics. So, this you see the grain size versus the relative density, right. It is a normal sintering, this is the normal sintering technique, right. To achieve this kind of 99 to 100% relative density, you have to heat it to a very high temperature and hold it for a long time. So, but this result into a larger grain size of more than 450 nanometers, right. So, but the other technique is the two-step sintering, in which here you can see after this 1310 degrees Celsius, they decrease the temperature to 1150 and maintain it for longer time. So, you get a densification of 100%, right, whereas the grain size is restricted to around 150 nanometers. In other case also, there is a peak temperature followed by a lower temperature holding. So, you get a two-step sintering resulting into a full densification, at the same time a grain size of around 120 nanometers. So, this is a typical microstructure of such nano yttria ceramic materials. You can see this is 100 nanometers, you have see this 100 to around 80 nanometers size grain in the sintered material, right. This is one other example of nano silicon nitride ceramics, right. So, here the investigators used ceramic silicon nitride with certain additive system, and again maintained a two-stage sintering to achieve a nano sized grains in the silicon nitride ceramics. You can see a two-stage sintering process, you have a density close to 97-98%, but the grain size is maintained around 80 nanometers, 85 nanometers. Whereas, in normal conventional sintering, you go to the similar densification, the grain size is more than 130, 145 nanometers, right. So, you get a densification to the maximum extent, but you can restrict the grain growth by adopting such a two-stage sintering in a conventional pressureless sintering technique. But the suppression of this particular grain coarsening while enhancing the densification is a difficult task, right. So, one other way to prepare such a nanoceramic material is by activated sintering. So, let us see what is this activated sintering. So, we understood from our previous class that one of the activated sintering technique is by hot pressing, right. So, hot pressing, what you do, you heat while pressing, right. You have a simultaneous application of pressing and then heating. So, you see this is one schematic representation of pressing in all directions, and then you can see the particles are forced to have contacts. So, maximum number of contacts will be developed for the particles. So, at higher temperature, so because of the external pressure, you have a additional compressive force. So, thus additional compressive force results into enhanced mass transport in the neck region. So, you have lot of diffusion occurring that leads to easy sintering, right. So, the driving force for such densification is increased by almost one order of magnitude when you compare with pressureless sintering. So, this hot pressing is generally used for preparing a nanoceramic materials. One example is again silicon carbide ceramics. So, in this paper, so there were several sintering methods used for the specimens with different temperatures and time, right. So, this the sintered density to obtain around 97 or 98% density, the grain size is more than 150 nanometers. Whereas, a two-step sintering, you can see the two-step sintering, you can go almost like 99% density, but at the same time you can maintain the grain size of the silicon carbide to 40 nanometers. When you do not have any sintering time, that means 0 sintering time, that means after achieving peak temperature of 1700 or so, immediately they drop the temperature, but again the densification for achieving a densification of around 97-98% densification, the grain size is around 80 or 75 nanometers, right. But the ceramic grain size is restricted to around 40 nanometers if you do the two-step sintering process, right. You can see all these grains is around 40 nanometers, right. So, this type of two-step sintering is also used in hot pressing to obtain silicon carbide ceramics of around 40 nanometers grain size, right. We must understand the superior mechanical properties may impart improved wear resistance to the nano ceramics when you compare with a conventional ceramic material, but due to significant improvement of fracture toughness cannot be achieved in monolithic nanocrystalline materials. A different approach called composite approach is suggested. So, mainly to couple the improvements from advanced processing techniques with fracture toughness improvement, a nano composite design is recommended and this is very famous paper, new design concept of structural ceramic nano composites by Kochinihara. So, he proposed initially that a nano composite design is much recommended to have an improvement in the properties, particularly the combination of a fracture toughness and hardness. So, if you have such a mechanical property improvement that includes the fracture toughness improvement also, then you may actually expect an improvement in the wear resistance. So, let us see certain examples of these nano composites. Materials are called hard materials, right. These are called hard materials. Particularly these are useful for ceramic cutting tool, right. These are particularly useful as a cutting tool. So, these are called ceramides, right, because a ceramic of tungsten carbide and a cobalt of which is a metal. So, cobalt is actually binding the tungsten carbide grains, right. So, this particular example is shown that for a tungsten carbide having 14% cobalt and hot pressed at again very high pressure of 1 gigapascal at 1973 Kelvin to result into a nano sized ceramic of tungsten carbide. So, you see as I told, you have a ceramic grain of this tungsten carbide and these tungsten carbide grains are attached through this cobalt binder phase, right. So, the influence of the amount of the cobalt is much useful, the influence of the amount of this cobalt, influence of cobalt content is very important on the mechanical properties improvement. For example, the fracture toughness can be improved by increasing the cobalt content. You see the fracture toughness, increased to a maximum value of around 14 MPa root meter with increase in the cobalt content in tungsten carbide cobalt nano composite, right. So, cobalt is generally added to improve the fracture toughness. Tungsten carbide is responsible for the hardness and abrasion resistance. So, you get a maximum wear resistance. So, tungsten carbide cobalt nano composite with improved fracture toughness is much useful for a cutting tool kind of applications, right. So, as I told, nano composites are used for mainly to have a combination of improved properties. One classical example is silicon nitride silicon carbide nano composite, in which the silicon nitride is a matrix which is also in a nanoscale, where silicon carbide is a reinforcement which is also in a nanoscale. So, you can see these particles are subjected to hot pressing at a 1700 to 1800 Celsius in nitrogen atmosphere to develop such a nano composite. You can see the TEM image of this composite. You see the silicon nitride grain and the silicon carbide particle, right. So, the silicon carbide is dispersed in the silicon nitride matrix. So, even higher magnification image shows all, you see the silicon carbide, this grain and silicon nitride grain, these are bonded almost without any impurity phase. So, that means there is a direct bonding with silicon carbide and silicon nitride grains. Actually, such a direct bonding is responsible for improving the mechanical properties even at a higher temperature. If you see the fracture strength versus the temperature, you see the silicon nitride with a and silicon nitride silicon carbide composite, this is one. So, you can retain almost higher strengths of around 1000 MPa even if you go to a temperature of around 1400 Celsius for the silicon nitride silicon carbide nano composite. So, the fracture strength versus the silicon carbide content, maximum fracture strength at room temperature like 1800 MPa is reported, a fracture strength of around 1500, right, around 1500 MPa is reported if you have a 25 volume percent of silicon carbide, and the fracture toughness is maximum for this silicon nitride 25% silicon carbide composite, and the maximum fracture toughness is obtained, a maximum fracture toughness of around 6.6 MPa root meter is recorded for the silicon nitride silicon carbide composite having a silicon carbide of around 25 volume percent. So, now how do we have an advantage of having such a nano composite with respect to performance? When you can see the deformation, right, a deformation is much larger deformation is possible if you have such a nano composite. Generally, the grain boundary sliding or cavitation are caused by the softening of the grain boundary impurity phases are responsible for the creep occurring at higher temperatures. But because there is no impurity phase, the grain boundary sliding and or the cavitation caused by that kind of grain boundary impurity phase softening is not occurring in these composites. So, you have the strength retaining even at a higher temperature. So, the no strong degradation up to around 1400 Celsius compared again at 1000 Celsius for silicon nitride ceramics, right. So, you can see this after 1000 Celsius the silicon nitride strength is reduced, whereas silicon nitride silicon carbide nano composite it can maintain higher strengths even at around 1400 Celsius. You have an advantage of such around 400 degrees Celsius to maintain the higher strength levels by adopting such a nano silicon nitride silicon carbide composite approach, right. So, one other example to show the benefit of this nano reinforcement is to develop a machinable ceramics. This is very fancy thing and very interesting thing to understand. The ceramics are machinable here, right. Generally, as and when you start machine a ceramic, those ceramics will be failed in a catastrophic way because of the inherent brittleness, right. So, but you can develop a machinable ceramics with a nano composite approach. So, this is one example of aluminum oxide, alpha aluminum oxide grains in which the boron nitride, which is a hexagonal boron nitride. So, you can this hexagonal boron nitride can be dispersed in a aluminum oxide matrix, and this nano hexagonal boron nitride can be useful in improving the fracture toughness, right. Because of the layered structure of this hexagonal boron nitride, it will be easy to machine such a composite having so the fracture toughness is improved with increasing such a hexagonal boron nitride content. One example, so you can see even drill this holes in a aluminum oxide boron nitride composite. right. One another example is silicon nitride with a hexagonal boron nitride reinforcement. You can see the silicon nitride grain with a boron nitride grain, those almost having very direct bonding with each other, and you can even develop such a complex structures in these silicon nitride boron nitride nano composites. You can even drill these ceramics. So, the machinable ceramics are possible when you go for a nano ceramic composite approach, right. So, you have to find out a suitable processing conditions, and you have to find out a suitable sintering technique to develop such a nano ceramic composite, so that you can have such an improvement in the performance, right. So, let us understand this in more detail way. So, only pressure application, as we are doing in hot pressing, does not always ensure grain growth restriction to nanocrystalline regimes, because you have an intrinsic pressure inside this small sized particles. So, it is very difficult to ensure this grain growth restriction for a nano powders, at the same time maintaining the high densification by only pressing. So, what you need to do, you have to have a faster heating rate. So, if you see the grain size at a temperature of T, it is actually obtained by this equation, where this is G0 is the starting grain size at a initial time of 0, and m is a constant, right, m is a constant, and G0 is a material constant, alpha is this constant heating rate, and you can see this integral from T0 to T exponential of minus QG by K into T of dt. So, QG is the activation energy for the grain growth, K is the Boltzmann's constant, and T is the absolute temperature. So, the striking point here is, if you have a faster rates of heating, then you can maintain very minimal difference in this grain size. That means, the grain growth can be restricted if you go for a faster rates of heating, right. So, further lowering of sintering temperature and holding time is beneficial. So, in this sense, the spark plasma sintering promises this. Actually, we have seen this spark plasma sintering in one of our previous classes, only the principle, right. Let us understand this with more detailed way, and with few examples of using the spark plasma sintering to develop such nano ceramic material. So, let us see the spark plasma sintering. As we understood, it is pressing and heating, that is similar to hot pressing, but heating is achieved in the spark plasma sintering by passing current through the electrically conducting pressure dies or conducting powders, or in the consolidation happens in two stages: initial activation of the powders by the application of a pulsed voltage, followed by resistance sintering under pressure by application of a steady DC current. So, in certain spark plasma sintering machines, these are done almost simultaneously. So, if you see the mechanism in this spark plasma sintering, under high amount of pressure and electrical current, there is a localized heating. This localized heating leads to necking, and this localized heating is called Joule heating. That Joule heating leads to localized necking. So, you can see the localized necking here, right. So, in this process, the temperature rises very fast, and this temperature rise is at the contact where necking is happening. At that contact, there is a very high temperature. That means, you will have a high temperature at those places actually where you require, right. So, in this process, the temperatures rises very fast and faster than the conventional sintering and even hot pressing, and the densification is completed within few minutes. So, as we understood in one of our previous classes, the total sintering cycle duration is of 20 minutes to 30 minutes time in a spark plasma sintering, whereas in hot pressing and conventional pressureless sintering, it is of few hours, right. So, in conventional pressureless sintering, it is of like 20 to 22 hours. So, you see the 20 or 22 hours of sintering cycle is reduced to 20 minutes to 30 minutes of sintering cycle duration in spark plasma sintering. So, you have such a benefit if you use this by heating it at a very high rates of heating up to around 600 Kelvin per minute. The sintering temperature can be lowered by 200 to 300 Celsius. This is 300 Celsius, right. The holding time is like 0 to 5 minutes and total processing time is around 20 minutes. So, if the powder is of conducting, the current may pass through the powders as well. If it is not conducting, the current will pass through this dies and punches, and then there is an indirect heating of this powder, right. So, this spark plasma sintering is useful to prepare such a restricted grain growth, right. Driving forces for the spark plasma sintering are resistance heating or Joule's heating, pressure application and surface activation of the powder particle surfaces. So, the powder particle surfaces physically activated and then they lead to easy necking under this pressurized conditions and increased temperatures because of resistance heating. All three driving forces are responsible for easy sintering of these powders. The continuous application of electric current through the sintering period leads to sustained activation of these powder particle surfaces, therefore triggering the sintering to occur in a very shorter time. Commercially, these spark plasma sintering machines are available with different names throughout the world. In Japan, these sintering machines or the sintering furnaces are called plasma activated sintering furnaces, and the method is called plasma activated sintering. In USA, it is called plasma pressure consolidation, whereas in Russia it is more popular with pulsed electrical discharge with the pressure application, whereas in Korea it is more famous with instrumented pulse electro discharge consolidation or spark sintering under pressure. So, these are different names for the commercially available SPS machines. Let us just see few examples of nanoceramics prepared by such activated sintering technique. So, this is a binderless nano tungsten carbide ceramic. As you know, the tungsten carbide sintering is very much difficult because of its higher melting point and then very less diffusion coefficient because of the strong covalent bonding, right. So, metallic binders limit high temperature application. Generally, this tungsten carbide is sintered by adding certain metallic binders of cobalt, nickel, molybdenum, right, but these metallic binders limit high temperature applications. So, the material will be degraded, so because of its softening of this phase. So, binderless tungsten carbide is on full demand, but you know the processing is difficult. As I told, the sintering is very much difficult, but this spark plasma sintering at 1690 Celsius is sufficient to prepare a tungsten carbide binderless ceramic with a nano size grains of around 25 nanometers and a hardness of around 23 gigapascal, right. So, such a high hardness is possible because of this lesser size of these grains. Another example is aluminum oxide reinforced by silicon carbide whisker. As you know, silicon carbide whiskers are of very high strength, right. A combination of a high energy ball milling and spark plasma sintering resulted in successful consolidation of gamma aluminum oxide and silicon carbide whisker nano composite, right. The composite having a matrix grain size of around 180 nanometers. Remember, the gamma phase is retained because the consolidation can be possible at a lower temperature of around 1125 Celsius, whereas there is the transformation to gamma to alpha transformation temperature is around 1200 Celsius. So, you can actually prepare a composite without having such a transformation from gamma to alpha. So, such an advantage is possible only by this advanced sintering technique, spark plasma sintering technique. So, the mechanical properties of such a nano composite are also very superior. The hardness of around 26 gigapascal when you compare with monolithic alumina, right, and the toughness can also be improved by improved to 6 MPa root meter. So, a combination of a hardness and a toughness improvement can be possible by this nano composite approach. Another very important example of nano composite is aluminum oxide, but this aluminum oxide is toughened by zirconium oxide. So, aluminum oxide, as you know, the hardness is around 19 to 20 gigapascal, but the fracture toughness is very less. In among the ceramics materials, monolithic ceramic materials, tetragonal zirconium oxide exhibits a higher fracture toughness because of this transformation toughening. Because of the transformation induced toughening, zirconium oxide monolithic ceramics have a fracture toughness of around 6 to 7 MPa root meter. So, a aluminum oxide ceramics, if you reinforce with zirconium oxide, then you get a improvement in the fracture toughness. So, you see one example of high energy ball milling of these powders and then followed by spark plasma sintering at 1100 Celsius at 500 Celsius per minute heating rate to prepare an aluminum oxide 20 volume percent zirconium oxide nano composite. Microstructural features reveal that a 96 nanometer sized matrix alumina and a zirconium oxide particle of around 265 nanometers. So, it is a nano micron composite, right, nano micro composite. So, in this category, this example aluminum oxide which is toughened by the zirconium oxide particles. So, the mechanical properties are hardness is around 15 gigapascal, as I told the aluminum oxide hardness is around 19 to 20 gigapascal. So, it is reduced, but you can see the improvement in the fracture toughness. The monolithic aluminum oxide toughness is around 3 to 4 MPa root meter, whereas aluminum oxide toughened by zirconium oxide exhibits a fracture toughness of around 9 MPa root meter. So, you see almost like 3 to 9 MPa root meter, that means almost 3 times improvement in the fracture toughness, but a decrease in the hardness. So, such a combination of an improvement in the fracture toughness with a slight reduction in the hardness is possible by this nano composite approach. So, in general, while strength and hardness are enhanced relative to conventional ceramics, the most significant outcome is a almost threefold improvement in the fracture toughness. So, also the incorporation of a softer phase to enhance the fracture toughness is possible without degrading the hardness property. So, the zirconium oxide hardness is lesser than the aluminum oxide hardness, but the fracture toughness is higher than the aluminum oxide fracture toughness. So, because of the toughening mechanisms involved in zirconium oxide, you have a benefit of almost threefold improvement in the fracture toughness for this aluminum oxide with zirconium oxide nano composite, right. So, all these improvement in the mechanical properties, for example, hardness, toughness, that we want to see the reflection in the tribological performance, right. In other classes, we will see several case studies where such a nano composite approach is beneficial in improving the tribological performance. Overall, reduction of the microstructural scale leads to significant improvements of the wear resistance of ceramics. Due to enhanced hardness and strength, nano composites are deemed to show improved tribological behavior. Mainly when you have only the wear occurring by abrasion, that is by mechanical fracture method, the wear occurs mainly by the plastically controlled wear and then brittle fracture, right. So, in a nano ceramic composite, due to enhanced hardness, initial plasticity controlled wear is reduced and reduction in the flaw size result in a reduction of brittle fracture controlled wear. So, both plasticity controlled wear and then brittle fracture controlled wear are reduced in a nano ceramic. So, you can actually expect an improvement in the fracture toughness. In coming classes, we will see several example case studies where we can see the reflection of this mechanical property improvement on the tribological performance improvement, right. But let us summarize this, let us see one very classical example of the tribology of ceramic nano composites. So, it is a fracture induced wear, that means you have certain grains and then fracture of these grains are, so whether by intergranular fracture or by transgranular fracture the material is removed, right. So, generally it happens in a abrasion when a harder material and a sharper material is sliding over a brittle material, right, brittle surface, what happens? There generates certain lateral cracks. That lateral crack will lead to removal of the material. As the sliding is going on, there is a material removal by the lateral fracture. So, the lateral fracture model that is proposed by Evans, lateral dimension of such pull out is proportional to this parameter, which is a combination of elastic modulus, fracture toughness and hardness, and also the depth of pull out is proportional to this combination of elastic modulus and hardness. So, owing to higher hardness of nanoceramics, the wear loss by grain pull out will be significantly lower than the corresponding conventional ceramics, right. First, this hardness of this nanopolymer, and nano composite design can lead to the reduction in the wear rate by reducing the dimension and the rate of grain pull out. So, you have an advantage if you go for a nano composite. This is one example to show such an advantage by going to a ultrafine grained ceramic composite, aluminum oxide, aluminum titanate with a finer grain size of around 400 nanometers and a coarser grain size of around 2.2 micron meter. So, you see there is a lot of pull out, right, there is a lot of pull out. So, this pull out is because of the cracking along the boundary and then grain boundary, and then whole grain is actually removed. But you can see this severe grain pull out in a coarser grain sized composite, whereas a mild pull out in a ultrafine grained ceramic composite. So, the wear resistance is actually improved by going to a ultrafine grained composite. So, this example also show aluminum oxide silicon carbide nano composite is a monolithic aluminum oxide, where you can see large scale pull out, right. There is a large cracking and then pull out, right. So, there is too much of cracking and along with this abrasion. So, abrasion leads to the cracking and then material is pull out. When in case of aluminum oxide 10% silicon carbide nano composite, you can see low density of very small pull outs and then minor scratches, right, minor scratches and very low density of these pull outs. That means, the pull outs are reduced in a nano composite. So, it can be modeled if you see the large pull out in a monolithic ceramic and a nano composite, the pull out is actually reduced because of the presence of this silicon carbide nano particle. So, as it was shown, the lateral dimension of pull out as well as the depth of pull out both are reduced, and then that leads to improvement in the wear resistance. So, you can see the material is damaged in a lesser extent in a nano composite compared to a monolithic ceramic. Finally, one example of the wear behavior of tungsten carbide cobalt cermets. So, it is a sliding wear rate, right, mm³ per Newton meter. This is hardness. You can see these are the conventional ceramite materials, right, the tungsten carbide cobalt ceramite material. These are also called cemented carbides or hard materials. You can see these are nano structured tungsten carbide cobalt cemented carbides. See, against silicon carbide sliding. So, as the hardness is increased in this material, the sliding wear rate actually decreased, but you can see further decrease in the wear rate in the nano structured tungsten carbide cobalt cemented carbides. So, the improved wear resistance for the nano structured cemented carbides is mainly attributed to enhanced resistance to the deformation of binder phase and higher hardness of the nano structured cemented carbides. So, in all these cemented carbides, as it was shown earlier, it was told earlier, these ceramic grains of this tungsten carbide are attached by this cobalt phase, right. This is cobalt phase. So, while sliding against this harder silicon carbide, what happens, the material which is softer in nature, that is less harder in nature, is easily smeared out or deformed or removed. Once the material of the softer phase, that is the binder phase, is removed, then there happens a fracture of the ceramic grains, those are tungsten carbide grains. So, now when you have a nano structured tungsten carbides, cobalt, cemented carbides, the enhanced resistance to deformation is possible. So, deformation of the binder phase is also restricted, and higher hardness of the nanostructured materials, you can see the hardness is higher than the conventional ones, right. Conventional ones having around 1800 maximum 1800 number or kg per mm square, whereas hardness is much more in the nanostructured materials. So, the higher hardness of the nanostructured cemented carbide. So, when it is subjected to when the contact is happening, because of the higher hardness of this nano sized grains of this tungsten carbide, the resistance against the wear also improved. So, improved wear resistance mainly attributed to enhanced resistance to deformation and higher hardness of the nanostructured cemented carbides. So, finally, one example to show the wear resistance of this tetragωνal zirconia polycrystalline material. These zirconia is stabilized by 3% yttria, right, and this was processed by spark plasma sintering at 1200 Celsius for 5 minutes, and you can see all this grain size is around 80 to 100 nanometers. A higher hardness of around 14.5 gigapascal is achieved for the nanoceramics, and monolithic ceramic of zirconia ceramics generally has a hardness of around 11 GPa. Now, you see the spark plasma sintering temperatures are varied, and then you can see the grain size is reduced. The grain size is reduced when the temperature is less, right, and conventional sintering of hot pressing at 1450 Celsius, that resulted into 300 nanometers. So, comparing the wear rates of these conventional hot pressing and the spark plasma sintered materials, as the grain size is decreased, the wear rate is also decreased. So, we will also see several other examples why we will also see several other case studies where you can have where you can see, we will also see several other case studies in coming classes for the reflection of the mechanical properties improvement in a nano composite materials on the tribological performance improvement, right. So, summarizing today's class, so an introduction on the unique property combination that one can achieve with nanostructured ceramic composites is presented, and then the processing of these materials requires the use of advanced sintering techniques. So, we have gone through elaborately one spark plasma sintering technique and hot pressing. Also, we learned that the processing of these materials requires the use of advanced sintering techniques, and one of them, spark plasma sintering, is elaborately discussed. The microstructural characteristics of some of the developed nanoceramics and nano composites are briefly presented. In addition to that, an overview of tribological properties of a few nanostructured ceramics is also provided. So, in the coming class, we will see few example case studies where we can see the reflection of the mechanical property improvement on the tribological performance improvement for important nanostructured ceramics and ceramic composites. Thank you.